morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me on another Wednesday video. I'm Marg from Creative Stamping with Marg, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Albert, Alberta, Canada. Today we are going to do a card technique that I've seen lots of people do, called shadow blocking. So we'll give that a go today, and I have a ton of news on my desk because yesterday, May the 5th, was our catalog launch, our new catalog, and many other things. So I have it down on my desk. Let's go have a look. Okay, there we are. Yes, such an exciting day yesterday. Here's our new catalog. Now I can show you the inside of it. Oh my goodness, there's so many great things in here. You're going to want to get your hands on this. I just received an order today that I've been waiting for 2 weeks. Finally arrived. So I've got some new product, which I won't be using today, but I will be sharing with you at another date. So if you live in Canada and you do not have a demonstrator and you would like a copy of this catalog, I finally have them. So you can contact me through my website, margaretgorn.stampinup.net, or my email, mrgorn@shaw.ca, and I'll try to get this into your hands for you. All right. So the catalog, we have new online exclusives that launched yesterday. The paper pumpkin for this month, which needs to be subscribed to by May 10th, is called Sparkling Celebrations. I've shown it to you for a few weeks now. Makes 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs with coordinating envelopes. It says creates bold celebratory cards perfect for invitations, congratulations, and special occasions. So looks very interesting. I think the picture, if you can see it, looks like the kind of lanterns that you put candles in and you let them go up into the sky. Very, very interesting. It says there is silver foil, and the classic Stampin' Spot is Misty Moonlight. Okay, and if you ordered that or you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber already, you're entitled to these to order these wonderful Scenes Dies add-on for $18, and they are good for April, May, and June's Paper Pumpkin kits. 168665. Cute dies in there, butterflies, flowers, fireworks, the word wonderful, and this sign I think is really cool. Makes me think of like a for sale sign. All right, so that has to be subscribed to by May the 10th. Okay. Product of the month, I have that on my desk here too. This is the new product of the month for May. Berry Botanical Vellum, 12 by 12. 12 sheets, 3 each of 4 single-sided designs. So it is vellum, but look at how interesting those cards look. I'm quite intrigued by this, so I definitely want to, in my next order, we'll be ordering this. Now, the product of the month has now gone to $7. Once you spend $100 on your order, you're entitled to order it for $7. So that's the new one. The product of the month for April, which was the Eyelet Blooms die, which I have now in my possession. I've just used it. I just tried it out. It is very intricate, I will say that. I ran through a piece of white cardstock, just regular white cardstock, and I will say I ran it through face up on my machine. So usually I put my paper on my dies and I run it through this way. I watched a bunch of demonstrators and they suggested running it through face up, which definitely made all the little pieces pop much easier, but it was very difficult to get the paper off of the die. I had to use my take your pick tool and pull very gently. So I may try something a bit different. I'm not exactly sure, but I haven't really played with it yet. But that's the die that's Eyelet Blooms, and this one for a $100 order is only $5 to add it on. So that is a good one, and it is still available. So that's what the package looks like. Eyelet Blooms die. Okay, so that's the product of the month. We have new starter kit offers. So our starter kit offer is always an excellent one. $165 worth of product from online or in the catalog, anything that's current, and you pay $135. But for May 5th to the 31st, if you join and you take advantage of this, you can choose. Get the 5 new in color ink pads for free. Or if you don't want those ink pads, you can add $50 more worth of products to your starter kit. So you'll be given those options when you go to sign up. So that's an excellent deal. Of course, I don't have these stamp pads yet, the 2026 to 2028 in colors. Barely Blush, Crisp, Cantaloupe, Golden Glow, Peaceful Pine, and Hydrangea Hue. This is the Hydrangea Hue they're showing. And this is the new easy open magnetic ink pads that they're coming up with. So this is the first that we're getting a chance to see these. And then they're gradually going to change over all of our ink pads, I think, to this design of magnetic. So it's a very interesting design. I've watched lots of people use them and show them on videos, and they're very easy to open as opposed to some of our ink pads people struggle with. So it is an interesting concept. They will be on my next order, so I'll be able to show them to you then. Okay, so that's the new starter kit offers, 2 different ones just for the month of May. Okay. What else do I have? Oh, craft class. There's a new craft class called Paper Mixer. It is $41, and it will be May 21st at 2 p.m. And then it will be, if you registered and bought it, they would send you the link, and you would have that to watch at your leisure if you wanted, if you couldn't join on May 21st. The number is 171475, and it is $41. They're going to be showing you how to do, I'm not saying just cards, but there is also a supply list that they're using. So the stamp set that they're using and the different kinds of paper, designer series paper they're using, and they're using some ephemera and some embellishments. So this list is all online if you were interested in it. And once you pay for the class, they will send you an email. And like I say, it is May 21st, this one. Okay, so there's that. Please check the last chance list. There's still things on it. I'm going to use some paper from the last chance list tonight or today, and some twine that's still on there. Okay, I think we'll get started. I think I've given you all the business news. So tonight I told you we're going to do a shadow blocking technique on a card. So I've got a sample to show you that I did the other day, but this is what we're going to do tonight. I've got basic black cardstock, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2, and the card is going to open like this. I have a piece of white that is going to be my layer, and it is 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. So it's going to fit on here end to end, and just having a little bit showing on the top and the bottom. Okay. For this one, I've seen different variations of this shadow blocking. Some using 9 squares, 1-inch squares. I'm using 1 1/2-inch squares tonight, and I'm using 6. So I needed 6 shadows, and I'm using black. So I have 6 1 1/2-inch squares cut of black. And I am using the Modern Christmas paper. I'm sure you remember this paper, and it is on the last chance list. It was black and white on one side, and then black and white and gold on the other side. So I've chosen, because these are squares, I've chosen the sides that have the gold on it, and it isn't really Christmassy to me. So there's that one with the stars. This one, I've just cut out just one of the trees, and there's that design. This design was, I think it's, I don't know, some kind of berries. That's the piece. But when you cut it into a small piece, it really doesn't look like much of anything. So I thought, well, I can get away with that. Still not looking like Christmas to me. There's a stripe. And then here's another piece that was part of the trees, and I just used it also. And it has some stars on it, so I thought it was cute. Okay, I have a 1/2-inch strip that I'm going to put in the inside, and I've already stamped my label. I'm using banner sayings, and I stamped "Here's to You," and I used the banner punch, and I used the middle one, so it's flagged on both ends. And I'm also using the Stylish Shapes, one of the circles, and I cut out these trees. And again, they don't really look like Christmas to me. So I thought that was okay. Some of the trees had stars on the top, so I didn't want that, but this one I thought looked all right. So I'm going to use that with my greeting. Okay, I've got some gems to use, and I've also got this black and white and gold baker's twine, which is on the last chance list, and it came in a 2-pack. So there's the white and gold, and here's the black and gold. I've got some pieces of that were in my stash here, and I'm going to try to use those. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I am going to take my white layer, and this is where we're going to do our color blocking, like the shadow blocking, sorry, on here. Now, remembering it goes this way. So I'm going to just move some of this out of the way. What I'm going to do first, I won't do this, sorry, is I'm going to take my black squares and I'm going to put my DSP squares on top of them. And all you do is leave a little edge. And you can leave as little as you want, or just so that it's even on the left side and the bottom. So like that. So what I did was I took my glue and I just applied the glue just like this, knowing that it's going to be at the top. And I'll just do a few at a time. You know me, in this glue, I finally got it flowing, so I'm going to go ahead and just put the glue on my squares. Like I said, leaving the left side with no glue on it and the bottom. So it's just kind of going in the middle here. And we'll attach our squares of designer series paper to these. And you try to do it relatively evenly. And I want to decide, do I want the stripes going this way maybe? So I want the left side and the bottom to be even. I hope this isn't too much of a glare for you with the gold. So I'm just placing them on here and trying to make sure that I'm doing them fairly evenly. This is a great way to use up scraps of designer series paper. As you can see, you could just sit and go through your stash and cut 1.5-inch squares and just see how I want that one. And you just, whoopsie, that one got moved. Good thing for liquid glue that you can move it around a little bit. Okay, this was just a peek of the trees here. I kind of liked it. I thought it was kind of cute. It's mostly white, but that's okay too, because this is, and this one, like I said, this is kind of a funny one because the berries are the gold part, and I just thought, oh, that looks kind of cool. Okay, like that. So you can see how it just is almost a shadow on the back. It's hard to even see it on there. So I'm going to move this to the side. I'll bring this in. I think I will go ahead and attach it to the front of my card. You could emboss this piece, but by the time you put your pieces on, you don't really see the embossing, so I kind of thought it was pointless. I've also seen people, once they put their squares onto the layer, then emboss the whole layer, and it kind of looks like it's quilted. I didn't think this particular paper would lend itself to that look, so I didn't want to do that with this. You could with something else maybe florals or something like that, but I thought this didn't really lend itself to this. Now the biggest decision is, where do I lay these? Or how do I lay these? And they're going to be laid like this. And I have 3 that are kind of white, so I'm thinking I don't want those kind of together. So maybe I do it like that. This one. And this one. So this is just kind of dry fitting them on here, kind of to see how much of a space you need to leave. So you're just going to move them around a little bit to get the way you want it. And can you see how they almost look three-dimensional when you're looking at them, because they look like they're popping off your page. I didn't use any dimensionals on any of these, and I think I like it that way. Put my greeting on. Now this is what I did. I used the circle for this, the stylish shape circle, and I thought I was just going to do this And I may just, whoops, I may just put it like this. And I'm thinking, is that actually, I kind of like it, that it covers up this part of the tree. But I don't know if that's smart. Maybe I should do it this way. I'm going to switch these two pieces out like that. And then when I put this here, it doesn't cover anything up. Okay, and then I was just going to put it like that. Or if you want to see the shadows, I could drop it down there. That maybe is better. Okay, so let's get putting these on. Now for these, I just put the glue on the black part. So I just literally did this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move these out of the way a bit. And I think what I decided, how much space I need around my edges, is kind of like that. Just want to make sure that I'm going to have enough room here. So you just have to kind of wiggle them around. So I'm going to do this end one now and then put the middle one in after. That always works best for me. Just trying to see that I've got these kind of even at the top and down the side. Okay. And then when I'm doing this one, I kind of like that. I don't know. These are fun, aren't they? I think I'll do them this way. Boy, nothing like moving them around a million times while you're playing around with it, but I do like them. I think they're really cool. I'm going to do the corners. So just glue on this one and put it down here. Again, I'm looking top to bottom and the side that it matches up here. I'll do this one next. And you'll see on the sample that I used, my original one, I used retired designer series paper, and I used Mossy Meadow as my shadow. So it turns out good, just as long as it's a bit darker color, I think is a good idea. But it doesn't have to be black. Okay. So just move it along, try to keep it in the same line, like that. Okay, and then this is the last one. So it goes together really quickly. If you had your squares cut already, it would really go together nice and quick. Oh, there we go. There's our card. There's the front of our card. So shadow blocking. You can see how it does look like there's a shadow behind these squares. All right, I'm going to put this on and this on, and I'm thinking, do I want this way or do I want it like that? This is the way I did my other one. So I'm thinking maybe I want to alter it a little bit. Do I want this here? No, I don't. I like this one here. And again, you don't have to use something on the end. I could have just done this, and I could have actually done a black banner behind it and maybe not use this because I hate to cover up the shadow. So let me just get a piece of black paper and maybe I can do that banner and it will look just as good. Here, I've got a little scrap of black here. Let's use that. See how that looks. Maybe that will make me happier. Okay, so I use that middle banner. I'll do it this way. Oops. Use that middle banner. Just like that. Okay, so there I've got that. And what I could do is have it sticking out either end and just put it on there. So let's do that. Let's cut that banner. Oopsie, sorry, knocked my camera there. Let's cut that banner in half. Like, doesn't even have to be exactly in half. And just put it on the ends. Yeah, I think that's good. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the ends of my white banner, just like that. This is real-time crafting because I hadn't made this card, this particular card, of course. I've done a sample, but with different product. So I like to sort of go on the fly here. And you just never know what we're going to come up with. Now, I would like these somewhat even. That one looks pretty good. And that one looks pretty good. Okay, so then I'm going to do it like that, I think. And then I don't cover up, sorry, I've got glue on my fingers. I don't cover up the shadow blocking. Now, I had thought I would use some of this ribbon behind it, or twine behind it, and I was just going to have it kind of looped behind it. Maybe just like this. And I've got two separate pieces here, so I'm fiddling with it. Yeah, I think I will. So what I'm going to do is get my Stamp and Seal. And you've seen me do this before, where I just run some Stamp and Seal across, and then I can play with my pieces here. I think maybe I want it to go this way instead. Oh. So I have it going like this. Oh, there. Got my fingers in the way here. And I have another piece, so I could always just have it like that, and I could cut that end off, and then I could continue it this way and have it looped. The good thing about using Stamp and Seal on the back here is that you can pull this twine off and readjust it. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time. You can play around with it a little bit. And like that. Whoops. Just when I think I've got it good, I pull it off. There we go. Just like that. Is it going to stick there for me? Okay, let's see what we think. I like that. Now, there is an end sticking up here that I want to get rid of, and I did bring my ribbon scissors in so I could do that. I'm going to cut that end off so it's not showing. Okay. There. I think that looks good. I'm going to put that up on dimensionals, and I think I'm just going to put it over there like that, or it could be here. Here's to you. I just didn't want to put it in the middle. Now I don't know. Do I like it in the middle or do I not like it in the middle? Oh, to decide here. Let's put some dimensionals on here. And see what we think once I get the dimensionals on. And I don't like to put the dimensionals on top of the twine because then it makes it bump up a little bit, and I don't want that. So I've got enough room, I think, to put one more here. Okay, like that. Now, sometimes I even put either a piece of tape or a piece of tear and tape across my twine so it doesn't come undone. I think it'll be okay on this one. So, what do you think? Should I put it like this in the middle? Should I put it off to the side like that? Should I put it down here across these guys? I'm just having a hard time making a decision here. I think I kind of like it across like that. What do you guys think? I think that's what I'll do. And I thought this greeting, here's to you, could be anniversary, graduation, birthday. It could be just about anything. Here's to you. You know, you got a job, promotion, anything like that. So I think, yeah, I think I'm going to put it right across here like this. Now I'm just trying to make it sort of even. And not using this circle that I cut at all. That can be used on something else. So there we go. There's the front of the card. What do you think of that shadow blocking? I kind of like it. I think it really makes those squares pop right off of there, doesn't it? Okay, and then on the inside, I have a piece of white cut that's 4 1/4 by 2 3/4, and I'm going to put it this way. And then I had that 1/2 inch strip of designer series paper that I'm going to put across there. So let's get to that strip first. I'm not going to stamp anything on the inside on the white paper just because then I can adapt it for whatever I think the occasion is. And I'm just going to line this up so I know where to start my... So like I said, I've seen lots of demonstrators do this, and using the 1-inch squares, you would need 9, but I used 1.5-inch squares, so I needed 6. So it's a pretty versatile kind of layout, and I will show you my sample in a second. Just let me trim this off like that. And for this, I'm just going to take my Stampin' Seal and just put a little piece in, so I always have that inside ready to go. But it's just, I can twist it off of there if I want to stamp on it. Okay, so there's our card. Now, I did say I brought in some embellishments, and I did. I brought in flower accents, which is kind of funny because this is not really flowers, but and they're gold. And I thought there's a lot of gold going on here, so I possibly just want maybe, I'm trying to think, maybe I want to just put some little ones on here like that and that, and maybe one little one. Should I put it down here amongst the stars? Sure. There we go. Just to give it a little extra something. We always like a little extra bling on our cards, so that's good. All right, so there's the banner sayings that I used, and lots of ideas on that. This is an online exclusive. And the inside looks like this. Remembering that this paper is on the last chance list, and it was $23 because it's a specialty paper with the gold on it. And it is selling for $20.70 now in Canada. And the twine, the black and white and gold twine, 2 spools of that is on the last chance list, and the price is $11.75. Okay, so those are the 2 last chance things I used. There we go. And I'll show you my sample card. This sample card was done from the Perfectly Pairs suite. And I love that pear paper. So there's different pieces of the paper, and I die cut one of the pears out, the dies that came with the set. And this is also banner saying celebrate. The word celebrate comes from there. And the orientation is different, of course, as you can see. It opens this way. And this is Secret Sea background, and Darling Duckling was the yellow I used, and Mossy Meadow was my shadow. So what do you think of that one? That one I like too. I think that's really nice. So very great way to use your designer series paper pieces that you have left over. And I think it's really effective card. So I hope you give it a try. And I appreciate all your thumbs up and all your comments to me when you watch the video. I sure appreciate it. And I hope to see you next week.